Joining me, as she does on a regular basis, great to have us in to update on what is happening literally in the neighbourhood. I say a very good morning to Councillor Michelle Rich, who is, of course, the President of the Shire of Serpentine Jarrahdale. Good morning, Councillor, and thank you for joining us.
Good morning, James. Thank you for having me back again. It's actually a pleasure to come in and speak to you.
It's great to have you in, and I'm pleased that I know you've got plans for the weekend, but it's great that you're sharing this time with us this morning, because sometimes it's the only time people get to actually do what we're doing, stop, have a little listen and an update on what is happening in the neighbourhood. And we know we're into March, which is scary.
Oh, look, it's unbelievable how fast the year is moving ahead. We've had 2 months go. They're just gone.
Yes. And in lots of ways, activities literally have hit the ground running. And, from a physical perspective, I suppose, people love to see bulldozers and graders and things happening. It's a sign of promises being kept, etc., etc.
They do.
In a material way.
They do. As a shire, we had probably just over a week off for the Christmas New Year break, and that was it. We were back into it the first week of January. So we didn't have a lot of time off, and we are extremely busy, so it's just full steam ahead for us.
As is always the case, and one can't help but notice that there's just about $4 million that we're seeing materialise as far as Briggs Park is concerned. A wonderful activity which will bring so much joy to so many different groups.
The lower park upgrade for Briggs Park area is overdue. It is something that is badly needed by our community. It completes the playing fields for our first district open space for the Byford area. The earliest I could actually find it in any Shire documentation was 1995, so it has been a long time coming, but we are in there and we are having it done, and hopefully by mid to late this year it will be completed and ready to go.
And no happier groups than, although there's an element of disruption, I'm sure, but the Bushrangers T-Ball Club, the Munajong Central's Junior Footy Club, and of course the Serpentine Jarrahdale Cricket Club, all co-tenants down there at the moment, but I'm sure that them and others will really be excited about what will be an excellent facility, and drainage issues, so much being sort of attended to in that major work.
The main people that have been utilising that field in the past is the T-ball, and they have moved to Serpentine for this season so that we can actually get the works done and upgrade the oval. So they've worked in very closely and well with the Shire to allow the work to be completed, so that they actually have a top grade field to play on in the future.
Another thing that hopefully our residents need to be reminded of, or do need to be reminded of, really, is that not everything that happens in the neighbourhood, falls at the feet of the local council. And a good example is the activity. I mean, Whitby's just going ahead in leaps and bounds. I mean, the actual residential area, the houses are being built. I mean, it's a bit like Mushroom City out there.
Whitby is a bit like that. Whitby's, you can't see it from any main roads. You actually have to drive into Whitby to realise how many houses and how many people we have living in Whitby. And I think because of that, it gets a little bit forgotten by wider government. We certainly know it's there. We deal with the people of Whitby on a daily basis, but I think that the other government departments and that make decisions and that on things don't actually realise what is actually there and how many people we have living there at this point in time. Yeah,
I mean, I know that as an example of groups and people that come together, the Munajong Walking Group and the Munajong Community Association are reflective of local members who try and achieve the best possible outcome and support councils and everybody else in getting what's best for everybody. But I mean, there's an issue in terms of the rail crossing in that immediate proximity at the moment, Michelle.
Yes, there is. The Munajong Community Association and through them the Munajong Walking Group worked and advocated to the Shire before the last Shire budget round, and were able to gain, through their advocacy, the Shire to budget the money to build or extend a footpath from the Whitby estate through to Soldiers Road for the children and mums with prams and that kind of thing to be able to walk safely from the Whitby estate into the Mundijong town site and to the Mundijong primary school with their children. The Shire has upheld that commitment as a budget commitment, and the footpath work from our side has been completed. But because it crosses a rail line and the rail reserve is actually owned by the Perth Transit Authority, we actually don't have any authority to build a footpath on their land. So the Shire officers have been working extremely hard trying to gain the approvals from the Perth Transit Authority to actually complete the footpath so that the footpath is full length. And at this point in time, we haven't been able to gain those approvals to actually complete that footpath work and have a rail crossing so they can cross the rail line safely.
So we've got an incomplete project, which again to the benefit and safety of those residents in the area. As a result of not the council's work, because they've done what's required and what's promised, but we can't really join the dots.
No, and I think it's one of those cases that is that rises when you have a hypergrowth area where you have some government departments are well aware of the growth and what's happening, as in the planning department would be, because they approve a lot of the subdivisions and that have been built. Mm-hmm. But then you have other government departments that work purely off statistics and numbers, and they don't quite realise what that community need is on the ground.
Yeah. In a physical sense, again, it's not a rail crossing that I know I've been over it many times, but I'm trying to get the picture in my mind again at the moment. It's really a boom gate scenario, isn't it? Is there adequate pedestrian flow? As we know, with pedestrian crossings, there's got to be
the rail crossing we're actually talking about is a Keenan Street crossing, and it doesn't have boom gates. Right. It is purely lights.
Ooh. Okay.
So there's no boom gates, and there is actually no pedestrian way across the rail crossing except for the road.
Okay.
So we've got small children or young children riding push bikes to and from primary school, which is a great thing. You know, they're out there not being driven to and from the gate of the school by mum or dad. But the concern is the safety of being able to get across that rail line safely on a footpath rather than being on the road competing with cars.
Of course, absolutely. So it's a case of, one appreciates that the priorities and everybody's wish list is different, and the pressures that I'm sure the principal planning department are under as far as the Transport Authority is concerned, in Main Roads WA and the Public Transport Authority. But the point is that as locals, what can we do to remind them that it's an important issue? Not much point knocking on the door of council and saying, please fix it for us, because they've got to go further afield, don't they?
They do, and it's obviously there's a article in the local newspaper concerning this issue last Thursday.
Okay.
And we have asked, because it's not something council can actually fix on our own, and we have been working extremely hard to try and get the PTA to the table and work with us.
Yes.
We've asked people that are concerned or are impacted by not having the pedestrian rail pathway there for their kids or themselves to actually write to the Minister for Transport and ask for some help to get this done.
Sounds a reasonable thing, and I'm sure the Minister would applaud the initiative and people taking the time to send in an email, pick up the phone. Minister for Transport, that's Rita Safiotti. Yes, she's very, very receptive to contact, and so there you go. There's a bit of an activity for you over the weekend. If you live in Serpentine Jarrahdale and you want to support yourself and others in the immediate area, just let your thoughts be known in terms of the importance of rail crossings, specifically the one, as you say, King Road, and broadly support certainly the safety of so many, and we don't want to see that turn into a tragedy.
No, we much prefer something done before that happens. We don't want to see, we have enough tragedies on our road as it is now. We don't want to have anything like that happen.
Oh yes, we won't touch on that one. We'll leave that one for a moment. Michelle Rich is the president for Serpentine Jarrahdale, with us for a while this morning. So it's great to see that Nightfields has returned to Mundijong, Michelle.
Yes, our community development team are doing a fantastic job with the activities that they're actually putting in place and running for the youth and the kids in the Shire.
Yeah.
Nightfields actually ran a couple of times towards the end of last year, and it's back this year, catering from kids from the age of 7 through to 17, and they have the opportunity to participate in AFL and netball. It's all free, no registration, just turn up. And just have a great time, try it out, see if they like it. Get down there with the other kids their own age, their friends and mates, and have a bit of fun.
Some great things in there. One, that they don't necessarily have to. I mean, it's great, always nice to know numbers or get guesstimates of numbers, but sometimes the younger ones, being as spontaneous as they are, great to see that that's recognised in this particular activity, because and at that age, 8 to 17, yes, it's a great opportunity, and very good. Netball on there as well?
Yes, netball and AFL.
Fantastic.
It's, the Nightfields they ran towards the end of last year were very well supported. Had lots of kids turn up. It was great to see them down there, mums and dads down there.
And it's great because if it's a case of trying to find a sport, another interest, expand the interest of your young ones, this is a good try before you buy sort of scenario. You don't have to be the world's best at any of these. Get down and have a go. And
that's it. It's not about being the best or anything. It's about getting in there, having a bit of fun, and being able to hang out with your mates and friends and make new friends.
I know that they have, for those real enthusiasts, they do have sort of skill competitions and whatever else. But at the end of the day, it all happens down at the Mundijong Oval, and it's over a period of Thursdays, Michelle.
It is. It runs Thursday evenings after school. So I think this one's a 4-week program.
Okay.
But I'm sure that once this one is completed, there'll be other ones that come up in the future as well.
Yeah, held on Thursday night, just gone, and so we've got March 7th, 14th and 21st. Not hard to forget. And I remind you all, as Michelle has said, it's a free activity, so no excuses for not to see you down at the Mundijong Oval, Cockram Street in Mundijong, this Thursday afternoon from 4:30 to 6. So please take advantage of this wonderful activity. And back to money, and more importantly with the growth, as we know, in the area. Construction work down on Abernathy Roads. Hallelujah.
Finally, yes. Abernathy Road is a major road for our Byford community. Yeah. It's a major east-west distributor road. It has been an extremely long time in coming, and our community have been extremely patient. The issues that we've encountered is that there's been an awful lot of services that had to be moved for the road upgrade.
Yeah.
And trying to coordinate different government departments that control different services, and then weather issues thrown into the mix, it has taken a lot longer than what we anticipated. But we are now at the stage where the actual roadworks have commenced, and the contractors that are on site are working flat out to make sure this project is finished and that it is a good piece of infrastructure for the community.
And it's certainly, it's a decent stretch of road. It's somewhere around 3 kilometres, I understand, that of Abernathy Road that's involved. So again, working around traffic, people's expectations.
It's working around the shopping and town centre of Byford. It's working around the major high school in the area, and a second school which is, I think, kindy through to about year 6 now in the Catholic College as well, plus all the residential areas. So it is a complex road upgrade given the amount of traffic and where it's situated.
That's right.
But our community hopefully are understanding of that, and Council and Shire is working extremely hard to get this project finished, because it is way overdue.
And if you're someone that likes to keep an eye on what's happening, I think you've got a construction sort of plan, and the overall work itself. It's available for individuals to have a look at.
All of the information concerning the Abernathy Road upgrade is available on the Shire's website, and it is updated regularly to keep the community informed about where we are in the upgrade. So if people would like to keep informed, and the Shire's Facebook page as well, updates posted to that regularly when they're put to the Shire website.
Quite true. And again, in terms of spending money, I see that at the February meeting, it was the discussions, amongst others, included provision for this year's upcoming budget, or the 1920 budget, for timber. You've got a couple of deteriorating bridges down at the Medulla Brook Bridge and the Gurlong Brook Bridge.
Yes, we've got two bridges on Jarrahdale Road. Both of them are the very old style timber bridges that have timber started to rot, and either rot or termite damage. And we have been fortunate enough to be able to access and apply for federal and state funding money to upgrade and replace both of those bridges.
A lot of money too, because again, people that are driving past and on them on a daily basis, regularly or otherwise, I mean, we're talking about $1.5 million.
It is a lot of money. The bridges, in our view, we want to see upgraded because Jarrahdale is a high fire risk area. And being timber bridges, we don't want to see a fire go through and take those bridges out and have no access in or out for our community up there. So it is a safety issue from our perspective for that, and road safety issue as well. And where we can access any kind of funding to have road upgrades done in the Shire of Serpentine Jarrahdale, we are chasing very hard to make sure we can gain as much grant funding as we possibly can, because our roads certainly need it. Yeah, well, certainly, as you say, major road like that, I mean, residents and those that traverse the Brookton Highway will remember the Kelmscott fires and what happened to the old wooden structure there that was burnt out, and the inconvenience that it placed on residents and others for months while that was upgraded. And being very proactive, and as you say, needing to work with the support of main roads. So hopefully that's something that'll we'll see delivered in the next couple of years. Yes. So definitely. But great to see, and again, I'm sure there are others that will fall, hopefully, into a similar fate, because, as you say, the older structures certainly do need to be attended to. February, again, a busy council meeting as is always, but looking at, again, traffic and the growth within the Shire, a positive announcement in terms of the Serpentine Jarrahdale Roadwise group, Michelle. It is a positive move forward. We have, I think it's 129 kilometres of, I think, sealed road through the Shire. When you get down into the southern end, the middle and southern end of the Shire in particular, the condition of those roads is extremely poor in a lot of cases. And we are looking at ways to try and help us find ways to improve those roads and upgrade those roads. You have to remember, these are old style rural roads. Usually the seal is single width only. They were built for small farm trucks and vehicles when they were first built, and over the years you see that the size of the trucks increase and the weight of trucks increase, and the damage that they do to the existing road network that we have is huge. So we need to be able to work with different government departments, community groups and that, to get the best outcomes we possibly can and find ways of actually being able to get these roads upgraded in the best time frame that we can. Sure. Well, I mean, again, the like-minded objectives like that will certainly go a long way to assist the Shire in reducing the number of road accidents and fatalities in the region. And as we know, with so many road user groups and interested parties, a bright future. And again, it'll certainly, hopefully, assist in grants and funding, as you say. Well, we've had our fair share of extremely bad car accidents and fatalities within the Shire, especially over the last couple of years. We don't want to see that continue. We want to be able to try and put things in place and make improvements so that it actually stops those accidents and injury and fatalities happening within our boundaries.
There are so many pressures, aren't there, on council in so many areas of delivering, both infrastructure. We've talked about playing fields, the work that's being done there, the major upgrades in so many areas. It all takes money. All takes planning.
It does, yes.
And having to work with others outside the other departments, other government instrumentalities, whether that be in a funding sense or it being in the reality of making things happen and working together physically.
Yes, it's one of those things. We need to keep the conversations happening. As long as the conversations have been had, we can find a way through.
Yeah.
It's when that you can't get those conversations to happen, or it's extremely slow with the conversation side of it, where it gets frustrating, and it's where the community get annoyed. It is about the conversations and being able to have those discussions and find a way through so that we can get to where we need to be.
And so often, as is clearly the case, whether it be WA Police, main roads, planning departments, whatever, let's not forget state government plays usually a major role in so much of what happens in the neighbourhood as well, in different ways. Don't forget you've got a local member. They are always keen to be updated, and love to hear from you, and don't be hesitant in getting on to your local member about this and any other issue that's important to you, because again it's a case of they're there to secure the best for you. So irrespective of where you are, your local member is there to serve. So
yes, she is. Alyssa has a large area to cover. She's all the way from Mundaring right through to the southern area of Serpentine Jarrahdale. We are the fastest growing local government in the state, though, so our community is vocal and should be vocal.
Exactly
and right. She needs to be listening.
Yes, and the same applies right across the neighbourhood in terms of issues. So from that point of view, be proactive, and the more people you tell, hopefully the sooner the reality and the objective is going to be reached, and the common ground is going to be found by so many. And in this instance, the establishment of the Roadwise group will go a long way to working and getting those interested group bodies, police, main roads, and obviously with the support of your own overarching WALGA, the West Australian Local Government Association, deputising and lobbying for you as well.
Yes, they do. I'm fortunate enough to sit around the WALGA table as a state councillor representing the Peel region. So I know that there is an awful lot of stuff that comes through WALGA and the state council that then is advocated for at the state government and federal government level through WALGA for local government within WA.
And we'd like to think that the roads stop at the Shire of Serpentine Jarrahdale, but as we know, and as we've discussed on previous occasions, we're a thoroughfare, whether it be the Tonkin Highway extensions, whether it be the rail links, whatever. We are an integral part of the growth that's happening in that Peel region. We are.
Each local government is a piece of a jigsaw, and we fit together, and we need to make sure that where something hits one of our boundaries, that it connects through into the next piece of the jigsaw puzzle. So we do all have to work together. It is not something that you can just do singularly on your own. You have to work together, and where we're situated, we are part of the Peel region. We're the northern end of the Peel region. So we also have the East Metropolitan region where we head into Armidale, and we have the west, I think it's the south-west metropolitan area on our boundary as well. So we're not just working with one region. We work with three different regions from where we're situated. And it's hugely important that we have good conversations with all of those neighbours to get the best outcomes for everyone.
Yep, absolutely. So, and you bring that back to a micromanagement situation. The same applies within the city. The different wards have sort of conflicting, not complementary interests and priorities from different areas. And again, the local councillors that represent their ward do so enthusiastically, but it's all got to be melded together and moved forward progressively.
It does. Once you're elected to council, even though we have a ward system within Serpentine Jarrahdale, once you are elected, you don't represent your ward as such. You represent the whole district. And the information prioritisation is based on the district, not on a ward. So as a councillor, you have to look at everything and you make the decisions based on your information and the whole of the Shire, not just on a small component of the Shire.
Sure. So it's a case, again, of sharing with others what's important to you. And in this instance, so many groups are going to be involved with and moving the Roadwise, Serpentine Jarrahdale Roadwise group forward to, as I say, prioritise and, more importantly, reduce the number of road accidents and fatalities that we do have in the region. And we're not alone there by any means at all.
No, we certainly aren't, and we'd like to see those numbers dramatically fall everywhere. It's not something that I think anybody likes to see.
No, it's a knock on the door you don't want to have to answer. Michelle Rich, the President for Serpentine Jarrahdale, is with us in the studio. Don't go away. And Michelle, I'll quote, if I may, the Serpentine Jarrahdale Ratepayers Association President Alan Clarkson has indicated quite clearly, and I think it might have been raised at the recent February Serpentine Council meeting, that a reflection was made on the annual Ratepayers General Meeting, which is an annual thing on the calendar. It was held back in December, but it still lingers in terms of some people's, concern, the behaviour of some at the meeting apparently. The cause for some concern, but more importantly, a difficult subject, because you yourself were the target, I understand, of a fairly vocal attack at that meeting, and not a pleasant situation for you.
No, it wasn't very pleasant. I suppose, in my mind, the thing that comes out of it is it's disappointing in this day and age for attacks on women in leadership to happen. We should be a lot more forward-thinking than that in this day and age. And the other side of it is as a council and a hypergrowth shire, we have so much more that we need to be concentrating on. And this type of behaviour is just disappointing.
Yes, there's so many exciting things happening, and we continue to talk about them every time you're in the studio, that collectively council, and one expects councillors to move together progressively in terms of, as you say, so much to achieve. We
have. It is such an exciting time to be on council and to be a shire president in our shire. We have so much to look forward to and so much that is going to happen over the next couple of years.
And in that context, it's great to see that the resources, and more importantly, I suppose this gives the wonderful destination that it should be in a historical sense. The wonderful setting that is Jarrahdale, the actual Jarrahdale town site, is in a couple of weeks' time going to be the setting for a very, very unique opera performance.
It is. We have some fantastic opera singers coming. Opera is not my thing, but I am extremely excited for this evening. I've gone out and I have a beautiful dress to wear for the evening. And just the thought of being able to sit in the surrounding area of Jarrahdale and listen to something like opera is just mind-blowing. It's going to be such a fabulous night. We can't wait. We've sold quite a lot of tickets. There is still some tickets available, but they are moving quite quickly.
Yes.
We've had our sign up in Yagan Square on the big new board that they have there, which has been fantastic to see for the Shire. But yeah, we are really excited about this evening, and it's brought out some more history of the Jarrahdale town site that some of us weren't aware of. It's been advertised that opera is coming back to Jarrahdale. There's a lot of us that didn't know that opera had actually been in Jarrahdale nearly 100 years ago. So it's one of those things coming full circle. So we're extremely excited for this evening.
The world and in this case the wheel turns, and you've certainly got some very talented international artists: Greta Bradman, Rosario Laspina, Jose Cabo, and Melania Nikolic. Will all be performing, a beautiful quartet. I'm sure they'll all get together at some stage, but individually they're wonderful performers, and this is going to be a night to remember under the stars.
Oh, it certainly will be, and like I've said, we cannot wait for this evening to happen. It's going to be so beautiful just sitting under the stars in Jarrahdale, listening to the opera music.
In that beautiful setting that is the Jarrahdale Heritage Mill. This is all happening on Saturday the 23rd of March. Michelle's already indicated there are still tickets available, but I wouldn't hang back. There are different, well, as one would expect, you can really go all the way and have a super duper VIP experience. You can certainly come along and enjoy the evening as the majority of us will do. In a very, very beautiful setting. The gates are open at about 6:30, I understand, and if you want some VIP treatment and not want to forget it in a hurry, well, this is the one you need to do something about.
It certainly is.
And it's obviously a great deal of pride that the Shire makes this opportunity and provides this available sort of opportunity. If you want to make it a real dining experience or something like that, I think there's opportunities for you to explore there. But more importantly, it's the actual entertainment. It's that beautiful bit of class.
Yes, it is. It is just so exciting. We are very much looking forward to this.
So whether you, as Michelle's indicated, whether you're a lover of opera or not, this is an experience, this is an evening not to be missed, happening at the historical Jarrahdale Mill setting itself, Saturday the 23rd of March. So you've still got a couple of weeks, but the closer you get, the harder the tickets are going to get to secure, certainly if you've got any sort of preferences. Best way to score all of that, I would imagine, would be to go and have a look at the Serpentine Jarrahdale's Facebook page, or Opera at the Mill. I think will get you there even faster.
It will. We have an Opera at the Mill Facebook page where all the information you need is on that page.
Oh, there you go. Fantastic. So I'm sure, you're certainly going to be frocked up for the evening, Michelle, which is great. And it's one which, again, will be a very memorable evening. And, again, it's just reflective of what variety and what life's like about in the wonderful location that is Serpentine Jarrahdale.
Serpentine Jarrahdale has so many different things to offer. It is so diverse across the whole area. We go from forest to farmland to an urban area. We have so many different things. We've got yogurt factories that you can go in and purchase and sample from. We've got cheese factories, we have honey producers, we've got beef producers, we've got sheep producers, macadamia producers. It's orchards in the hills up in the Jarrahdale area. It is just phenomenal what Serpentine Jarrahdale has to offer. And a
well-established, fantastic new, fresh off the production line in more ways than one, a great permanent abattoir now locally situated as well.
Yes, we do. It's my understanding is the first abattoir that has been approved in a very long time for human consumption. Fantastic small family business that has been established in the southern end of Serpentine Jarrahdale. Larry and his family have done a tremendous job. We had an official opening a week ago out there, and they did a bit of a tour through the facility that they've set up, and it is just absolutely fantastic. Local people near and far take their animals there to be butchered,
or to be recycled. And the reality is you can pardon the pun, they can go in one end and you can get them at the other end in terms of not having to see them out the farm gate and they're gone forever. I mean, in the reality, this is an absolute bonus for the local area. I know they do all varieties, and certainly if you have a halal requirements, they meet them as well. So
they do, yes.
A very, very professional outfit. Congratulations to all involved. And I know that at the other end of activities coming back holistically to what's happening, Quarry Farm in Whitby will be the home of the 2019 Food and Farm Festival on the 5th of May. So opportunities there for people to get involved. And so if that is the case, and again, we'll remind you of that closer to the event, but again, a perfect opportunity to showcase, as you say, Michelle, everything that's happening, and there's so much to see and do in the broad Serpentine Jarrahdale Shire.
There certainly is. Well worth a trip.
And with a big smile, I say thank you very much for coming in and joining us this morning, Michelle. Always great to have you in and to cut across the broad spectrum of what is happening in the neighbourhood. And it's great. Certainly this long weekend, you coming down and sharing with us and updating us on the exciting times.
Well, thank you very much for having me, James. It's a pleasure to come in and speak with you.